Hey guys, how's it going, man? Today I would like to make a video on the fact that I support people to that is not supposed to be in America. They should leave the country. Now, I would say even though I'm Asian, we actually have been in North America for a very long time, since probably over 150 years ago. I don't know, 120 years ago, because we actually were we sold ourselves not as slaves, but sold ourselves to work for certain projects, like way back in the days, man, when we were just trying to make money using our basically labor. And we're in Canada, we're in North America, we're in America, all types of jobs or things. I forgot. I don't know. We went back and forth, and so there was times that like we made the money, we brought it back to China, and then we went back. So we went back and forth many times, man, for that for like 4 or 5 generations. So that means we actually made money. If we didn't make money, then we couldn't bring it back. You know. So it was jobs definitely that people didn't want to do. And today, obviously, my labor is useless. I'm doing something else. So therefore, we're trying to upgrade ourselves very normally. And but I do agree that I should be picking up these folks that are illegal. Even though some of them said, oh, they actually have been here for a very long time, 5, 10, 20 something years. But there's a difference between playing by the rules and bypassing the rules. And I think a lot of these people, they are like saying that, or saying that the ICE is picking up people that are just speaking Spanish. Well, I think maybe some of them it's mistaken, but I think a lot of them, there are no mistake. They are literally looking for people that overstayed here or never were like legally in the first place, all types of things. And I tell you the reason why these people they should go back. Because first of all, if you actually have gotten here, you should gotten the paperwork, everything should be done. You shouldn't just keep on going to work. You should get the paperwork that you have a green card, you have a reason here to stay, that your staying here is not endangering other people's jobs. That's what I think. Um, I think for most white Americans and Asian nowadays, if you want a labor job or labor intensive jobs, it's not going to be easy. Because you know why? Because a lot of the immigrants, illegal immigrants, have taken it over. So, you might be interested in being a mechanic or interested in being something that is very labor intensive. Now you don't get a chance to even try it. Never. I mean, it is complicated. I mean, look, the country is evolving, but this is not the way it's gonna be, ought to be. It's too many, definitely I agree, it's too many immigrants. Back in the 1990s when I used to go to Orlando, that nobody speaks Spanish. Nowadays, if you go to a mall in Orlando, the first thing you go there and they'll greet you with hola. Now, I think the Spanish population definitely might explode. Maybe it moved from Miami to over to Orlando, but it's a very different landscape. It's only 15 years. I mean, imagine another 15 more years where that is going to be like across all of America. And I think America should be the way it is. Um, I think a lot of people also argue that this is a stolen land, or this is a this was like by the natives. Why could you? How could you say this is your land? Well, quite honestly, it's definitely your ancestors or your leader has to step up. Back in the days, they didn't step up, and today they're not stepping up. And so you can't say anything if you actually never try to step up to the game, to the challenge, to overtake them. Like all these Native Americans, I love you guys. I think you guys are cool people. You guys are related, like blood wise, with East Asians. But however, if you wanna, it's quite simply, back in the days, you had to outbreed them, especially when you have nowadays all that extra government. So if you're in a rich tribe, then you have all these subsidies, make a lot of kids. That you couldn't lose. I think if you all of you make 10 kids, and you have every single one of them are 16 to 18 years generation apart, you guys will be a very formidable race overall, and there will be huge amounts of representations. So it's not like we have beaten you down. You just are letting other people beat you. And I think it has the same goes to the Asians back then. They were sitting there just letting people kind of walk through them back in the 90s, I think, because everybody was like, F it, like I have had enough of my home state, I'm moving to California. That's what everybody did. So that's not exactly the best thing to do. Is definitely organize and get better. But in the case of ICE, is that there are, to tell you the truth, there's just too many, and I think the local people don't even get opportunities anymore. And I think another reason why a lot of Black Americans resolve into crimes more than ever is because literally there are just no jobs. Literally, that's what I think. I mean, why would you resolve into crime if there's a decent job, decent career that like tomorrow is going to be better than today? It wouldn't happen. I definitely agree on the ICE captures of a lot of these immigrants, things like that. I mean, they definitely could protest all they wanted, saying like, "Oh, this was Mexicans' land," and then like this was Mexico as well. Back then, like you said, it's back then, not now. I mean, we could go through like a billion years ago that Genghis Khan at one time like conquered everybody, and you could argue that like this was Mongolian, and that's just how preposterous it is. I think I actually have met some Mongolians. They actually have said like they hate China and stuff like that. But I mean, to tell you the truth, is that you conquered it back then. How come you can't keep it? It is your own problem. And at the end of the day, everybody got to take their own responsibility, man. I mean, if you don't, you never get better. You're actually always going to be worse. So you could be playing the victim card. How many people are going to pay you? If it is not a Biden administration, who's going to pay you for being as a victim, right? That's what I think. So overall, I mean, kudos to like really cool South Americans that have made it in America, but however, I don't really have a lot of sympathy on people just like kind of walk over. I mean, to us, even back then, for us, we had to pay a really hefty fee just to come to America and work for you guys, man. And it wasn't a nice job either. So that's the thing that people have to go through. I mean, if you're walking over, if you just kind of escaping something else and have 10 times your salary compared to Mexico, then that's not cool, because look, I mean, as far as Mexican is concerned, look, if Mexico is a hellhole and it was a terrible place where it is kind of like North Korea, I can kind of understand. But I've been to Mexico and it ain't all that bad. So you coming over here just for chasing a high salary, and that like you doing all these labor work, you're making 60, 70, $80,000 a year, because labor work here costs a lot more. Maybe over in Mexico you're only making $7,000 or $10,000 or per year. I don't really see the justification of that. Not at all. Not at all. And I think like it's bad for the U.S. economy. And then the U.S. economy has to go back to just like in the 90s. We have to reset it back to the 90s, where most Americans are interested into education. Most Americans are not all that violent. And most Americans wanna, we're not cannibalizing each other's companies. And that's what it is. Like, we have to build good things again. We cannot. I think in the 90s there were a lot of cars that wasn't that good, but we kind of get away with it because America was really on the top of capitalism. But nowadays is that if you want America to be on top of the capitalism, definitely you have to have higher quality people. If you have a low quality population, all these people kind of coming in, they're low quality, it's going to pull down the average. It's just very normal. It is, if you have an IQ, let's say like if your class IQ is 105, if you have a couple of other dumb students come in, guess what? They're gonna pull down the class average. Even if they don't say anything, they don't do anything. Essentially, eventually, that it will catch up, and the class will be dumber and dumber, and because of this class, they actually have polluted, and they go to other classes, and these students also make other classes suck more. That's why, man. That's why I'm 110%. I am not about inclusion. Inclusion will never be successful. No countries include everybody and ever become successful. It's always going to be cannibalizing. Somebody got to go. I mean, it's kind of unfortunate. And I see it from my friends that all these years that the really mentally unfit, the problematic ones, literally they kill themselves. It's not like people force them to. People don't give them enough money. It's just, yeah, they're relegate, So, I mean, but in this case, we have to take some actions for these not proper immigrants, I think if they're doing something really good work, stay in this country. Stay in America. America needs good people. But if you are already got a job in Mexico, and there's the same competing job in America, and you just come over here and then ditch the job in Mexico. Now, if you're a smart Mexican, that's going to be a brain drain to Mexico's economy. And then you're coming over here to America, and you're going to be competing with the Americans here, where initially an American could have gotten a job with a decent salary, and now you have taken over his stuff, and then now he has to resolve into working in a lower class place, maybe a Target or DoorDash and stuff like that. Just think about it. It doesn't really make any sense. It's bad. It's terrible. That's why this is the logic I'm installing to you people here, that you think you're liberal, you think you know everything. You really don't. Trust me. Thanks a lot. See you guys later.